welcome to the NewsX Sunday Garden Roundtable. Today we are taking a look at the Congress party and in particular, should it have a policy on Ayodhya? This is, as you know, the Congress has decided to boycott the opening ceremony of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple in Ayodhya. The reasons they've given are many. We'll discuss those also. But at the end of the day, the Congress has been, facilitating on a stand on Hindutva, Hinduism. Sometimes Rahul is wearing a Janevu, sometimes he's not. At the end of the day, they want the minority vote, but they also need a chunk of the majority vote. They've tried all kinds of things for it, despite, for recently, the caste census is also in a way a move to get a chunk of the majority vote to their side. But at the end of the day, on religious grounds, because whatever we may say, elections are fought on religion. Should the Congress have a policy on the Ayodhya temple? Should it take credit for the Shilanyas conducted by Rajiv Gandhi in '86, or should it just keep going, dilly-dallying? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Joining me on the show is Rashid Kidwai. He's a political commentator, author, journalist. He's written 24 Akbar Road. There is Vinod Sharma. He's the political editor of Hindustan Times, and Ashutosh, founding editor for satyahindi.com. Rashid, this thing was actually inspired by a column I read by you, and you're the first one who said, one of the people who said that they need a Ayodhya doctrine. So a bit about what you wrote and what you feel on this issue.
I think, Priya, the Congress of late has developed a knack of, making things look complex, which can be, very simple. You look at the invitation, which they, in their own words, respectfully declined. All they had to do was to insert a line or, say one thing that, as the Congress belief is also that religion is a personal matter. In that context, anybody is free to do whatever he or she wants to do, visit, not to visit, whatever this thing, a kind of freedom as per their religious belief and conscience, etc. That was not done. That's why a person of your repute, you are also saying the Congress is boycotting it. The boycotting is something very different. The Congress is not in a confucianist mode. When the Ayodhya judgment came, Congress was was one of the first to welcome it. The Congress has been, a very pro-Hindu party in the post-independence India. I can give you a lot of instances. Even the entire life of Indira Gandhi and in her stand on Punjab has been a testimony of that. The Congress Working Committee resolution in January 1999 under Sonia Gandhi read that Hinduism is the sole guarantor of secularism in India. Now, if I have not told you this is from the Congress party, you would have thought it is a, BJP line. So having this kind of, profound, the Congress doesn't do, they do more of the ritualistic things like, all the appointments were put on hold till this, Malmas gets over. They always have a Shubh kind of thing, whereas BJP is very religiously agnostic in these matters and keep doing this thing. I think when the time comes, the Congress is actually relying a lot on the left of center, leaders with that kind of background and giving a lot of weightage to that, or some of the political discards from other political parties who become very close Rahul Gandhi advisors. And that is a real problem, because if a political party needs to have a, roots in society, it cannot have a, political correctness is fine, but political correctness, often doesn't, fetch dividends, electoral dividends. And that is a tragedy of Congress. That in all things, as V.N. Gadgil used to say, that on emotive issues, the Congress has a tendency to fall between two stools. And this time around, on this Ayodhya thing, when things are happening in the, say, relatively speaking, in terms of harmony, the Congress has, got has hit a jarring note. And the left parties are, their stand is very clear. They are very different from the Congress. If you look at their, political outlook and religious outlook, etc. Congress has not been that. So therefore, it is, caused more harm than good.
Vinod, your take on this, is the Congress under the influence of Sitaram Yechuri, or is it thinking on its own? What is it a good decision to not go, I won't say boycott?
Well, your moot question is, should the Congress have an Ayodhya policy?
Yeah.
Priya, the policy which any party should have on religion is built into the Constitution of India. Why are we looking around, missing the wood for the trees? It's built into the Constitution of India. What is the spirit of the Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution says that it views all religion equally without the state having any religion itself. Now it has been stated that the Congress was always tilted towards the Hindu faith, that it was tilted towards the Hindu faith. I'm sorry. The Congress was the first implicit coalition of ideas that came into power in India. Congress lost its way when it digressed later years, perceived to be digressing towards the religious right, which unfortunately happened. On the doing, now very few people say it openly, on the doing of Mr. Arun Nehru, who got the temple gates opened. And he was the man who joined BJP later. You can say that the Prime Minister allowed himself to be beguiled by his own relative. That's another issue. It can be debated. We can debate that. But to suggest that the Congress was a party that was always pro-Hindu, was a party which was a party of a conglomeration of ideas. Thirdly, it has been stated that this statement, I think the phraseology is different, which Rashid quoted, that Sonia talked about something to the effect, which I have been, without having known about what Sonia said, because one doesn't need to refer to Sonia to know that the goodwill of the majority anywhere in the world is the best protection for the minority. And we are, as a country, having an edge over Muslim majority nations because in this country that goodwill has broadly existed, which is sought to be disturbed, by certain forces now, time and again. So to have a Ayodhya policy, sounds a little incongruous to me for the simple reason that if we have an Ayodhya policy, then we must also have a Vatican and a Mecca policy. Point is that this is a country of myriad religions.
I take your point.
Here rights are decided on the basis of my citizenship and your citizenship, and Rashid Kadwai's citizenship. Why should a party which is a pan-Indian party have a policy specifically for Ayodhya? Yes, they have made mistakes. Yes, it's a fact that temple doors were opened. Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister, but they were open to save the chief ministership or Bir Bahadur in UP by Mr. Arun Nehru, because he was about to be changed. And Arun Nehru, a very Machiavellian mind that he was, thought, how can anybody remove a chief minister who gets the temple doors open? So please understand, and the BJP came up with this policy of Ram Mandir when it got clobbered badly in the 1984 elections and got reduced to 2 seats. And then they had a Parnapur resolution and other things. So the point is that in this country, political parties should work together to create a goodwill of the majority for the minority, and to also trigger a response, an equitable response by the minorities to that gesture of the majority. Now, are we building today's India or yesterday's India, medieval India? What India do you want to build? A medieval India?
I'll come back to you. Ashutosh, all this what Vinod is saying is very good on academic, on paper, on an ideal state. But that's not how it works on the election ground. Now, there is votes that are fought and got in terms of religion.
See, Priya, first of all, we have to get rid of this BJP propaganda machine, which is a multi-million dollar machine, which always brainwashes you and me, and we all start thinking what the BJP wants us to think. I think first of all, we have to make it very clear on that point. Second thing, I up to a certain point, I'll agree with Vinod. That the concept, it is not about the Ayodhya policy. I think I seriously beg to differ with that kind of phraseology. The secularism which has been propounded by our freedom fighters, that is need to be reestablished. The problem with the Congress party is in the post-Nehruvian era, the secularism in India was defined by the left intellectuals, and it became rejection of the religion. So when it became rejection of the religion, then the problem started. And it continued in the Indian academia and Indian universities, Indian journalism per se, that anybody who's putting a tika on his head is called as a communal and not a Hindu per se. Other Muslim keeping a topi on his head becomes a communal Muslim. The fact of the matter is that my father and my brothers, they are devout Hindu, but are they communal? That is a question which we need to ask. So I think the Congress party in the post-Nehruvian era got confused between the secularism and the religion, and that is where they caught themselves in this kind of a crisis. That at one point of time you have to compromise on the Shahbano issues. On the another point, you have to open the locks of the Ram Mandir. So I think this rejection of the invitation on 22nd January is, in my opinion, is a reinforcement of that concept of secularism. That and a political statement, a message has to be made from the rooftop that this is not a religious ceremony which Ram wanted, but this is a political ceremony. And in a political ceremony, you are laying a political trap so that the Congress party should fall in. And I have been saying this for a very, very long time, that India at point of time is witnessing the march of an ideological state. An ideological party has to be confronted and fought in an ideological manner. And so if you have to fight with the BJP, then you have to put that concept and the message to the cadre very clearly, that we are not fighting with the religion. That's why the Congress has not said that the congressmen should not visit Ram Temple. I think the congressmen are free to go. Dipin Hooda has gone, others have gone over there. So, but the BJP's propaganda machine is so powerful that they are projecting it that the Congress has rejected Ram Mandir ka apman kar rahi, something like that. But can you believe it? The four Shankaracharyas, the epitome of Hindu religion, they have said, I'm not going. The two of them had categorically said, this is not according to the Shastra. This is a political event. So where is the validity of this entire event? In my opinion is, I think the Congress for the first time is doing something right vis-a-vis the concept of secularism. They might lose. I agree with that. But to walk on a path which is a long journey, you have to make certain compromises to reinforce the belief and the ideas you really believe in.
Rashid, supposing if Sonia and Rahul do, should they go visit, they can go anytime, they can go later also. What kind of tips and message would that send if they go? Should they go, or will they, decide not to go? In terms of, the to go, not to go is becoming, and also the messaging, what Rashutosh said is right, say it's a political event and not a religious event. We'll go at our own time and they should actually go. Will that help? Or will that also be debated?
Priya, when we say about a doctrine or a policy, it means some kind of consistency. You look at the Congress on the economic issues, they have this thing that, continuity with change. And that's how they were able to move from a socialistic pattern of society to economic reforms. So that kind of consistency is lacking. And when I say the Congress is a pro-Hindu party, it was a pro-Hindu party at the time of Jawaharlal Nehru. When Acharya Kripalani went to Pakistan in 1948 in January, when in Karachi, which was the capital of Pakistan, he made a pronouncement and it's in public domain that the interests of the Hindus in Karachi are of interest of Congress and Indian nation. He said that said at the base of Jawaharlal Nehru. So this is all a whole legacy. As I said, I don't want to repeat what happened in Punjab and what was the Indira Gandhi's opposition to Punjabi Suba, etc. This is all matter of record. And then, of course, Rajiv Gandhi promising Ram Rajya, starting doing Shilanyas and his political campaign from all that. And numerous times, the last one was, of course, Madhya Pradesh, PCC chief Kamal Nath, doing this, proclaiming that he's a, Hanuman Bhakt and doing all kind of, soft Hindutva or primacy of, Hindu religion, etc. It's been done, by the Congress at all levels. Mr. Rahul Gandhi being dubbed as a Janudhari, Hindu, and all those things have been done, all his temple hopping in Gujarat, etc. It's all matter of record. Now, the thing is, Mr. Ashutosh can go on say that this is a political event, but you go to the street of any city, and they think that it is, the inauguration or opening of Ram Temple is deeply religious. So this is a political party job is to win elections. Shankaracharyas don't win elections. And you look at Shankaracharyas, the kind of, speak in the last 48 hours they've been saying, I think no political party should go, close to them, because, they are the masters of, changing stand. And what Shankaracharyas say, no political party, but very problematic for the Congress if we start following, the dictates or, the vision of Shankaracharyas. And that will run in the totally contrary to what Mr. Vinod Sharma and Ashutosh have been saying about, the legacy of Congress. The Congress ideology has been actually quite an absence of ideology. So it used to adopt as per situation. And that is where I think it is lacking, because it's speaking in different way. It is seen as, this is the perception. And it is not a perception that is created by the BJP alone. There is a perception that the Congress seems to be, opposing whatever is happening in Ayodhya at this point of time, and having welcomed it. Having welcomed, construction of temple, having welcomed court verdict, having done all Congress, political resolutions from 1980s have said three things. One is that amicable solution, and if it is, if whatever court decide, they will abide by it. So this has been and whole. I don't want to even talk about Narasimha Rao legacy and what he did or what he did not do at that point of time. So this is, and Congress, has to own up all these things. So therefore, I'm saying there is a need for consistency. If they want to oppose it, it's welcoming. Let them go on saying it. But then it's an election time. And in election, people expect political parties to take a position. All I'm arguing is that Congress must take a position on it, rather than just, doing this, dubbing it into that entire, legacy of Lord Rama into this thing, something what BJP is doing.
Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and come back and keep the conversation going. So stay with us. Hello and welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Today we are debating whether the Congress party needs to have some sort of a policy on Ayodhya, and by Ayodhya I mean a larger policy on, this whole religious debate, because whatever we like it or not, religion is very much, the part of our election. So what you're saying, secularism in the constitution, but when it comes to votes, emotion and Hinduism does come to a big, motivating factor.
Priya, my problem is that many people are very comfortable with the new normal. And I think that this new normal is the most abnormal thing to happen in a country like India, which is a huge country, which has got many facets to it. Rashid, I don't want to get into this whole, wade into history with Rashid Kidwai. He talked about Masani going to Kriplani or Masani, whoever, when going to Pakistan.
Yeah, Acharya Kriplani.
I would refer you to the Nehru Liaquat Pact. Read it thoroughly and try and understand what is the impulse. I don't want to get into the details of it. Secondly, why should there be Ayodhya policy, Rashid? There can be a narrative. And that narrative is not cast in stone. No narrative is cast in stone. Don't have a cut and dried approach to politics. Look at BJP. When the Mowbray Mosque was demolished, do you recall often when you discuss this issue that they said it was unfortunate? Sharam ki baat hai? Do you remember that? Do you remember what was the policy of the BJP on the Mandal issue? But haven't they changed? So don't try to present politics as something cast in stone. We can't have a cut and dried approach to politics. Yes, Congress party has been a trifle wavered on this issue, and they should get back to track. And getting back to track means that a political party of the history of the Congress and of its achievements of the freedom struggle and post-freedom struggle for a large part of India's life, this party should be willing to lose an election to set a narrative in this country, the right narrative, as has been envisioned by the givers of a constitution. Here is a ruling party which keeps on quoting Ambedkar, but at the same time keeps on ignoring the document he gave to us in order to govern ourselves. It's so ironic, I'm sorry, Priya, I am not looking at this issue with the very myopic perspective of the coming election. I have seen what it does to the image of India when you are abroad and when they do something like the Babri Mosque. I don't want to say where I was, because then many meanings would be adduced to it. The
Where were
fact
you?
is, I was in Pakistan, December 6, 1992, and they taught me, their actions taught me what is minoritism, that it is a tyranny of numbers, that in that tyrannical state of mind, this is the same class of people who made fun of Amir Khan when he went public with his fears that he discussed with his wife. And I could identify with those fears because I was living that period in that country. So please understand that we have to, the fact is that some of the actions of certain elements which have the power patronage today, they create a psychological divide in the minds of the citizens of India who happen to be religious minority. This has to be stopped. Somebody has to stick his neck out to stop it. And if that doesn't fetch them electoral dividends, so be it. How does it matter? I mean, okay, you'd say, these forces would come to power. They will inflict, they will do things more as per their whims and fancies. India is a country which is endowed with a lot of native wisdom of the people of this country. That native wisdom defeated Indira Gandhi at the hands of Raj Narayan. Raj Narayan didn't defeat Indira Gandhi. And I'm sure that sooner or later, the native wisdom of this people of India will come out and find expression in some form with full bloom. When it happens, I can't say. At the same time, when I say that, I am not subscribing to the view that this election is already decided. If this election is already decided, then why is the ruling party not agreeing to counting VVPAT slips? Why?
अच्छा वो तो और ही debate है, but coming to
debate. I'm not saying that. I'm asking you. You must ask them, but nobody asks them questions these days, no?
That I agree with you on that one. But Ashutosh, fine, what Vinod's saying is right. Do not fall into the trap. Do not make India theocratic state. We have a secular values. Keep on fighting. Then the message should be, is the Congress giving that message effectively? Ya to fir wo message effectively do, because end of the day, it is the wisdom of the people, and wisdom of the people are voting the BJP again and again. And I differ with Vinod. I do see them winning again. And Ayodhya is going to help them. Ashutosh, unmute yourself.
How many elections Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani together lost? We forget the numbers. They started in 1951, 52, and in 1984, there was still 7% political power. Only 7% vote share in last 30 years. Did they waver? They did waver at some point about the ideological issues. See, election is, I agree with Rashid Bhatt, election is, the politics is all about election. But every election is not politics. Today, Congress party is not losing because Congress party do not have an Ayodhya doctrine. Today, the Congress party is not losing because Congress party do not have an idea about the secular, what kind of secularism it has to pursue. The Congress party is losing because it does not have a charismatic leader at the top, like Mrs. Indira Gandhi, like Narendra Modi. The Congress party is losing because Congress party does not have an organizational structure. I firmly believe Congress party is not losing because Congress party is not consistent with its ideas of India. I think on the issue of economic policy, they have been the most consistent party since economic reform started. On the issue of secularism, they wavered. And I explained why they have wavered. This is the first instance where Congress has shown the willpower to take the bull by horn. That every religious incident cannot decide that Congress has to go with the BJP. Just imagine a picture. When Narendra Modi and Mohan Bhagwat is sitting there and Sonia Gandhi and others are clapping from the behind? Is it, does it behoove to a political party which talks ideologically a different kind of a narrative? It does not. So sometimes you have to take tough calls, and they have taken a tough call. This might damage the Congress party up to certain extent, not beyond a point. Despite Narendra Modi's resurgence at the top, Congress still consistently getting 12 crore votes, 11 crore votes since 1988. And I have tabulated those numbers. They're still there. The BJP in 2009 had only 7 crore votes. They got a jump of 10 crore votes from 7 to 17 crores in 2014. Not because the BJP had done something great. BJP did not create a Anna movement. The BJP got it because the Congress discredited itself due to the corruption charges. BJP got it because they could discover a cult leader like Narendra Modi. Before that, I still remember 2009, Gang of Fours, Nitin Gadkari. And I still remember Ravi Shankar Prasad, Ashutosh ji, chunav haar gaye to kya apni party ka dukaan band kar dein kya? That the BJP was in total disarray in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012.
Okay.
So and numbers are there. Secondly, are we talking about only North Indian secularism? What about Kerala?
Yeah.
What about Tamil Nadu? What about your Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Bengal, Punjab? Why the BJP, despite Ram Mandir, could not get enough seats in Punjab in the last 60, 70 years? I want to know that. Why they have not been able to make a breakthrough in Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And even Maharashtra up to certain extent and up to certain extent in Bihar. There are only 1/4 party in Maharashtra and 1/4 party in Bihar, despite the Hindu thing. So I think we all get a phobia of this religious fervor because we sit in UP and we see the religion all around. So my point is simple. Congress is losing not because of the Ayodhya doctrine or a lack of Ayodhya doctrine. Congress is losing apne karmo ki wajah se. And Rahul Gandhi, and the first good thing which the Congress party did is that BJP had successfully made them look like a pro-Muslim party. So now the tag is out. Now the Congress is no longer a pro-Muslim party. But those who are using the word soft Hindutva, I strongly differ with that. Hindutva is a Savarkar's ideology in which the hate mongering is inbuilt. And that is anti-Muslim ideology. That is not Hinduism per se. So going to temple is not pursuing soft Hindutva, and that is the mistake which most of the intellectuals, most of the journalists in the country are making. They are giving a religious sanctity. They are giving a certificate on the issues of Hindutva. Let's not do that. So going to temple and wearing Janev is our part of a tradition. You can say that. It's not pursuing Hindutva. The entire effort was to get the tag out that it is a pro-Muslim party. And they have successfully done it. Not Sonia Gandhi, not attending the ceremony will not damage Congress party even for a second. I firmly believe it.
And on that note, I think we'll agree to disagree because I do feel that, maybe later on they can go and prove that, we didn't go because of political grounds, but on religious grounds, we are not against any religion. Also, at the end of the day, what kind of message it sends. But at the end of the day, thank you so much for this conversation. This is a debate that will keep on going, unfortunately, during the elections because the BJP at least will try and keep that momentum going. And let's see what the Congress does in reaction to that. But thank you all for this conversation. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.